It's at the YouTube here.
YouTube.
YouTube. I think we're live.
Wow.
Dave's like, wow.
Oh, Rich is checking his pulse. He's live.
You check some pulses here to make sure you guys are alive.
I'm good.
You're good?
I'm good.
I'm gonna call you guys. Let's just going back from like old Van Halen days. Instead of the mighty Van Halen, it's gonna be the mighty Dharma Kings tonight. Does that work?
I've seen that before.
Yeah, we've arrived.
Somebody called us that on Facebook.
The mighty Dharma Kings. That was me. I did that today.
Oh, was that you?
Yeah, I put up these Facebook posts to try to promote everything, and
okay.
you know. So we got, of course, David, we got Richard, and we got Tom from the mighty Dharma Kings. What's going on, fellas?
Okay, dead silence. No one
people,
speak.
This is how it's working. People got to talk on this now.
No one speak.
No one speaks?
Just be quiet.
Okay.
This is the guy you want to hear.
You want to hear? Are you the guy?
No.
You sure heard him screaming yesterday.
Shy. That's the guy you want to talk to right there.
I don't know.
What's your story?
Which one?
Well, how about we just pick a story and go? How's that?
How about Richard and the Three Queens?
No, that's his. It's where he's got the three queens.
He does?
I'm pretty sure.
In the RV, right? The RV is
the
three
three
queens.
queens in the RV.
Yeah.
The basement.
Yeah, get up a little bit more now, Mike. Just kind of put it toward. Well, you could tilt it a little bit.
You got them all handcuffed together, too?
Yeah, you
those
got.
three
Yeah, these are
queens?
like.
Handcuffed queens.
There you go. That's perfect.
Anyway.
Yeah, so as soon as it goes up on iTunes, everybody will be able to hear you.
Oh.
Oh. Hey now.
Well.
Well, they
What's
can
the
hear
story?
you.
We can hear you. So what's the story now?
Where you
Which-
from? What's your story?
Oh, I was.
What is your freaking
was an
story?
aborted child, and I got out of the formaldehyde. And,
Nice.
And it's been like joy ever since.
Joy ever.
So,
Are you from Austin?
I've been here about 10 years.
Okay.
So no.
Yeah.
That means no.
No.
Well, it's funny because I'm originally from Connecticut. I've been here since '91.
Freaking Yankee.
I know, pretty much.
You know what a Yankee
No,
is,
you
right?
don't know. You don't know what it's like to be a Yankee. So you came in 90.
Well, I do. No, I was there my first 24 years.
So you were
And
here.
then I moved down here when I was 24, and I'm almost 50. So
So you came. You said 91.
91, yes.
Okay.
End of 91.
You know what a
So-
Yankee is, right?
Uh,
It's a quickie, but you do it yourself.
is that,
Oh man.
you know who that sounds like? Bruce Rivers from Broken Teeth. Bruce has got more.
That's
more
not
jokes.
Bruce Rivers. Oh, take your hat off. I think you are. That is Bruce. Holy shit.
Bruce has more jokes. I mean, every time I hang with him, last time I hung with him was over at the Hanover show. You guys played at, and he must have told me like 20 jokes in a matter of like 10 minutes. He's rattled them off, you know.
Huh.
So
As a drummer, what do you expect?
hey,
He's back there, he's keeping time. He's got to do
I'll
something.
tell you that. I'll tell you one thing about Bruce. He makes that band. He's one of the dudes that makes it. I just love those guys. You know, they're such a great band.
Are we talking about the mighty Broken Teeth?
No, they're not mighty. You're the mighty Dharma Kings tonight. So there's something. We'll just call them Broken Teeth tonight. That's what we're gonna call them. Yeah, but we're chatting before you guys came on. That was, man, just a killer bill. It was so much fun, you know, because that band Dongle came up here like a couple days afterwards, and we were just talking about it, saying it was just a great night for everybody, you know.
Yeah,
So-
they played well because we
Yeah.
played a show with them in Anderson Mill Pub 2 months prior, I think, and they were good, but they were exceptional at Hanover's, right?
Yeah.
They were really good,
They're
and they're a
fun.
bunch of good guys.
They're very endearing.
They are.
Yeah. Did you see that little?
Dancing midget.
I did.
Yeah, we grabbed it and put it
Yeah.
on our thing. Or
No,
I did.
well,
I
you
borrowed
put
it.
it in front of me on stage. It's, like,
Well,
it's only the bass player. We don't need to see him.
Well, anyways, they brought that thing up for the podcast, and they put it like right at the end of the table. And come to find out, they thought it was like noise activated, but it wasn't noise activated. It actually had a song in it. It was like, you know, let's get down tonight or some shit like that.
Yeah.
And so they didn't even know because they bought it and brought it to the show, put batteries in it, and they thought it was when the band, you know, made a sound, it would move. So yeah, they had that little thing up here and stuff. So it's pretty crazy. Yeah, but they're good people too. I mean, that's the thing I'm finding out about the scene is like, you know, is lately going out because a ton of my friends are in cover bands and hooking up with certain people. It's like, oh, let's go see some original bands, you know, and actually doing this. A lot of original, like Jim's been feeding me original bands, telling me about bands, you know, his favorite bands. And I've had one by one, I've had them up here and actually gone seeing them and say, you know what, man, the original scene it's alive and kicking. It might be slow, it might be coming back up, but it's definitely there, you know? And the thing about it, there's a lot of good bands too. It's not like a bunch of shit. There's a lot of real good bands.
Really good, mighty bands, right?
Mighty bands.
Mighty.
Yes. So, I mean, it's coming back, man. I'm excited. I really am. I mean, I know a lot of people aren't, but I'm kind of.
So you're thinking that original music is coming back and covers are kind of going away, or what? What are we seeing?
What I'm saying is, a lot of people are doing cover bands, right? But slowly but surely, they're kind of like side projects. Take for instance, like Paul Idell.
Right.
He's got Jokerville. Of course, he's got Dangerous Toys, but Jokerville is one of his main gigs now.
Right.
And make sure this thing's running. Okay.
Things off, I think.
Oh, you know what that is? That's just somebody calling me. It'll go off in a second. Beautiful, huh? Like when people call me. It's probably Jim. It's Jim from Texas. Call me. 512. I think it is actually. That's probably Jim.
All right, we got to talk to Jim. Go ahead, answer it.
You put Jim on.
Well, actually, I got a whole private number for the podcast now, so it's a podcast. I call it the CobraCast podcast hotline. And in the middle, Jim's name will pop up on it. I have to hook him in, and he'll talk over the thing. I'm sure he'll call tonight.
Well, now you mentioned Paul, and
So, anyways, I mentioned Paul, and so Paul's got toys, but one of his main gigs is Jokerville. Now he's playing in a cover band, but slowly he came out and he's doing 99 Crimes now.
Which we're playing with them.
Right, exactly.
On Friday at Jim's Club. It all ties.
It all ties together.
It's one
there
big
you
circle.
go.
It's a circle of life.
And also on July 15th at Hanover's.
Holy shit!
Hell yeah, you guys.
You know more about it than we do.
Yeah.
Hey, we playing July 15th.
Yeah, we just played with Dangerous Toys. A month ago?
Oh yeah, over at Grizzly.
Yeah.
Come and take it live. That's what it's called.
You guys are like playing a lot though, huh?
We did for a run there. Now we got to get down to business and maybe write some new music.
So how long's the EP been out for?
A while. We have another album worth of material.
Oh really? Cool.
Yeah. When did it come out? The EP.
8 months ago. Yeah, 8 months ago.
Something like that.
To critical acclaim.
It's really a year, but I'm making it sound.
One person reviewed it and thought it was great.
I listened to it. I thought it was real good.
Really? Well, in that case, let me give you one. See,
I listened to it on iTunes actually.
See, Home Depot, and this is
nice.
I'm going to plug Home Depot because Lowe's doesn't do this, but Home Depot.
It's so funny because
they actually sell Dharma King T-shirts.
Do they really?
At Home Depot.
That's awesome.
So
which I mean, at all Home Depots?
All Home Depots. Each Home Depot in the nation has one Dharma King shirt.
And you know what, too, that I'm finding out is bands, are coming up with some killer artwork. I'm serious, man. You should see the stuff that bands are coming out with now in this town.
Mm-hmm.
Just super impressive stuff. Awesome.
I got a special shirt for you.
You got a special one for me?
Here it is. Here it is. This is for you, baby.
Oh, damn.
You look so good in these.
That's the 8-inch pythons. That's 8 inches around.
Don't you wish? And we got.
Dude,
more
I've been skinny
swag,
my whole life.
More swag.
You got more swag for me? Jeez, look at all this stuff. Jeez. I feel like it's Christmas.
You got to put this on your car, though. These little stickers.
You know what?
Hey,
I'll put them on the
I need
microphone.
two because you know I have this.
Over
I have.
You need
I have
two
it right there.
Here's,
you can have a couple of those if you want.
Hey, here's 200. Look
Whoa, hey, Mao. You guys just giving stuff away.
And you were talking about our EP. Here it is.
I really dig this cover.
There you go.
No, I don't need this many.
What do you want him to do with those?
I want you to play a different one every day.
And that's your one every day?
If you put,
man,
put
you guys are too kind. Too kind.
You put them around here, other bands will see it and they'll want to play.
Here, I thought I
with
forgot
us
everything.
And stuff. Look at that.
I was wondering why he walked in with a Home Depot bag. I was wondering what the deal was. Well, thank you very much.
Didn't you ask for a hammer and nails? That's what
I guess it's a hammer and nails. I guess whatever.
Look, I got more hammers and nails right here. I rated all the Home.
Man, doing all this.
I took every shirt I could find.
Dave, he's giving away all your stock over here, Dave.
Look at this. No, we have like
Dave's
3,000 of these.
3,000.
Yeah, and they're all like extra small.
Extra small. I know a few of those. Well, hey, I'm like totally blown away. Thank you so much.
No, just give it out to your kids, your friends,
I don't have any kids,
neighbors.
but it's all right.
Go over to Sun City. 4:30
I'm sure
in
they'll
the
love that,
afternoon.
yeah.
Go to the
While
restaurants
they're drinking
at
their wine.
4:30 and drinking wine and put. Oh man, could you see like some? I better not say it.
What?
So,
I know. I have people in mind already.
An older woman, let's say, at Sun City, slapping this thing on.
Well,
come on.
Get into this. I was listening to this about a week ago.
Yeah.
And the first tune, it's like I grew up with like 70s music,
Here we go.
No. It's not. No, it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad
what
thing.
is the first tune?
No, I grew up on like Alice Cooper, Aerosmith, The Doors, Nugent, Kiss, all that stuff. And I see like a little bit of Frank Zappa in this.
What is the first song?
It's America.
It's America.
I
I see a little bit. No, but I see a little bit of the Doors in that.
The breakdown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hear like all sorts of stuff in it, and it's like super cool because it kind of brings me back to when I was a kid, you know, and like these days, you mentioned the Doors to like a kid that's 20, they're like, who, you know?
No, they like chain smoke, and Halsey.
Hey, get up on that mic just a little bit there, or just pull it. You can
I
just
said
pull it back.
pole
here.
smokers. No, I mean
Pole
chain
sm-
smokers.
Justin
So-
Bieber.
Pole smokers.
So America reminds you of the Doors, huh?
Well, no, there's that breakdown
The
part.
breakdown.
Yeah,
Okay.
but of course you're gonna get the Rob Zombie and the White Zombie stuff and everything. But I pulled like a lot of old Alice Cooper out of it, like of course the Doors.
Yeah.
Just that kind of stuff, you know, and it just,
You know what
like I said, it kind of brought me back.
What I like about this is you can actually see me.
You're in there?
Look at that. That's me.
Oh, my
That's
glasses.
the guy with the hood.
You're the guy with the hood.
You know, I never thought about
You
this.
can't see any of us.
Wait,
so that's
we're
good
all
for us.
we're in the South.
Not a very photogenic man, are you?
We're in
No.
the South. We're wearing white hoods, and I mean, some would say that I'm carrying an axe. I mean, you guys think about the
Tom, it's
implication of
a
that.
hazmat suit, Tom.
Oh, a
Yes,
hazmat
it's
suit.
a
Oh,
hazmat
thank
suit.
you, saved me. Thank you.
He hasn't even been drinking.
Hasn't even been drinking. He's pulling all this out. I got all this.
Man, they spiked the water.
He spiked the water. He has some good
Hey,
water.
So you're
there.
from Connecticut. So
Yes,
you,
I am.
So you understand water.
I don't say water, but
You don't say
it's like
water.
water. Yeah,
Water.
it's weird because I still have like the accent, you know, from up there, but I kind of say y'all every now and then, which
Yeah.
is kind of strange. So it's kind of a mixture of the two, and everybody's like kind of looking, where the hell are you actually from? Because it doesn't make any sense.
But do you still park the car?
That's Boston.
It's as close as I could get.
Pretty much, yeah. It's like a hop, skip, and a jump for. But it's weird because that whole area up there, it's like you go to New York, you got the whole Brooklyn, New York accent
Which
thing.
is where I'm from.
Yeah. So then
But
you
we
go to
didn't-
Connecticut, it's a little bit of that, but then you go up to Massachusetts, and it's a whole different. You got the whole Irish,
Right.
whole Irish population up there, and they say "ka" and "ba" and all that
Yeah.
kind of
See, in
stuff.
Brooklyn, we didn't park the car or
Yeah.
park the car. We would steal your
Do
car.
you know Adrian Paratori?
Yeah.
Okay,
You
good buddy
mean,
of mine.
you mean Guy Perry?
There you go, Guy Perry.
So
yeah.
do you know the story behind that name?
I probably heard it, but you want to tell me?
No, I want to talk about the Mighty Dharma Kings, not Adrian Paratori.
I was saying you're talking about Brooklyn. That's why,
No,
So,
he's from Long Island, though.
Yeah, I know. That's
But so he's, for you guys who don't know, he's the guitar, or was the guitar player in the Motels. And these guys were, they're based out of L.A. and they got this Italian guy from New York and L.A. and his name is Paratori, and nobody could say Paratori.
What was their song? The Motels is escaping me.
Only the lonely.
Only the Lonely.
Only the Lonely.
They
yeah.
had two hits. That one and
The Wild Man.
Suddenly
joins
last
in,
summer
knows,
or something.
knows the Motel
chimes
song.
in.
Finally.
yeah.
He's a plethora of
And
knowledge.
And he comes in with the Motel song.
I've been to a motel.
more than once
with three queens.
Live
with three queens.
Anyway, so to finish the story, so nobody could pronounce Paratori, so they kept talking about that guy Perry, the guy Perry, and
Yeah.
that became his name, Guy Perry.
Is that what the story is?
He actually sold me the first guitar that I gave to my kid.
Really?
My son was like 8 or 9, and he
Well,
was
he was a guitar player, wasn't he?
yeah
Because he
was
plays bass now. Well, he plays in
a
LC
cover
Rocks.
band, right?
He plays in LC Rocks.
Right.
He plays bass. He's a great guy. So
I hadn't seen him in a while. So.
yeah, I saw him.
Hey, Adrian. Yo, Adrian.
Yo, Adrian.
If
yeah.
you're watching, how's it going, man?
Yeah, he's doing well. He's just trying to make a living like the rest of us. So
He used to be at Guitar Center.
I don't know.
I do.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay.
He came here and he was the GC Pro guy for like 3, 4, 5 states. So he worked there for a while, and that's how I bought a guitar from him. So
Wow.
anyway,
That's crazy.
so enough
So
history.
Richard, we're back to you now.
which motels have you
Yeah,
stayed
you
at?
engage this guy.
I know. We need to talk about this guy here.
It's too bad that he's just drinking water.
Did you ever stay at the Golden Gate?
The Golden Gate.
Yeah,
In
that's going out to my buddies in Brooklyn. They'll know that one.
Hey, tell him about your apartment one where
which
you
one?
had the netting on the roof,
I was.
and it was like sheet. It
Oh
was
no,
a
it was
basement,
that was a
or-
basement.
it was a basement.
It was a. At one point I was like, man, screw this rent stuff. So I had a basement that my
Now
band-
we're talking
band
some stuff.
practiced in. So it was unfinished. So I just got cardboard boxes and stapled it so that the pink insulation wouldn't fall over, fall on everything, and drilled a hole in the
Right.
in the bathroom to stick an extension cord. And I did that for 6 months or so. I thought it was great. Saved some
Why
money.
not?
Well,
Zero
Oh,
responsibility.
and graffitied it
That's
Yeah.
nice. Hey, you
Yeah.
need some artwork in your place,
He
right?
knows how to impress the ladies.
Well,
That's
it was-
Did you bring any ladies back there?
Yeah, but until the next day, they were like, "Oh hell!"
They wake up the next day and they're in a cardboard box. What the? What's going on here?
Oh, it was,
Hey, this is a nice box you got. It was
as my brother
a
would say,
refrigerator or something.
Smacked of class. Yeah.
There was a band in town. I don't. This is back in the '90s, and you remember when Pharmaco was around? You remember Pharmaco?
Yeah.
You go do the.
Yeah.
Well, Pharmaco was you go and you would
You'd be the guinea pig.
you would be the guinea pig for
drugs.
experimental drugs,
Right.
and so you would.
Yeah.
Rocky
No, it was-
Erickson used to go a lot.
Yeah. So, anyways, there was this band. Man, I can't remember what their name was, but all 5 of them would go in, and it mattered how long the studies were. If you went for like a month, you get like $1,000. If you went 2 months, you get like $2,500 or $3,000. It just matters what the time span was and what they were testing. So you could either hit to sign a waiver. If they gave you the real stuff, it might kill you. But if they gave you the placebo, you'd be all right. So, anyways. A placebo, a sugar pill or water pill or whatever.
We'll get that. We'll get
Okay,
to that.
okay.
No.
So, anyways, for 4 or 5 months, you wouldn't see the whole band. So what they would do, they would go into this Pharmaco and they'd all go into this case studies. Then they come out with bandages all over them and stuff. But they'd have a ton
Six
of
fingers.
but they'd have a ton of cash, and they would do the second half of the year. They'd play all their gigs and do the recording, whatever. And then right around Christmas time, you'd see them back in Pharmaco again. Because none of them wanted to work or anything. So it's an easy way to make a buck back then. So
They probably gave blood too.
yeah. Well, was it plasma? Plasma's the big one. I never did that. So nope.
I don't have any extra.
You don't have any extra left?
No.
Yeah, at our ages, it's like, you're going to have to keep every drop of plasma you got in blood and everything. So let's talk guitar playing.
Okay. Okay.
You're a phenom. This is what I hear. I saw you play.
That's not an insult.
It's not an
Okay,
insult.
okay, I wouldn't-
I
No,
told
no,
him
this
that.
is
Wait
not
a
an-
minute.
I told
Wait
him
a
that.
minute.
This is not an insult. I'm gonna tell you why, because
He didn't call you a female.
a phenom.
Yeah.
No, I'm serious. You're a great player.
Oh, thank you.
You're a phenomenal player. It's weird because in Connecticut, there was in that whole scene up there were so many great guitar players. I mean, and because of where the region was, none of them pretty much went anywhere, but a lot of them that I know kind of went out to LA and they're actually doing stuff now. But that kind of arpeggio speed metal kind of stuff or whatever, back in the 80s. I haven't heard that kind of playing like in forever. So when I saw you over at Hanover's, I'm like, God damn, So it brought back a lot of good memories for me to hear that kind of playing again,
It's the graffiti.
It's a graffiti.
I don't have a life.
You don't have a life. You just play guitar all the
I can't
time.
change my oil. I can't.
Can't change your oil, really.
in the car. I've seen it done.
He's paid for it.
I paid
He's
for
not
it.
paid
Jiffy,
for it.
Jiffy Lube.
No, I mean,
No, I mean I just I just do this a whole lot, and
do you?
that's kind of
How long you been playing for?
a long time.
A long time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That narrows it down.
He was doing scales and diapers.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember it's funny because when you pull out the arpeggio stuff, and I honestly haven't heard that since like Connecticut because nobody like down here was doing it. And there was a guy up in Connecticut. His name was Jimmy Bell. And when the whole Ozzy thing happened, when Zach got that gig, it was between him and Zach for that
Nice,
gig.
Nice.
Yeah, and he still plays. He plays in a band called House of Lords.
Oh yeah.
yeah,
I
he's-
remember this guy.
Yeah, he's in that band. He's
Yeah.
been in that band for
Yeah.
a long time.
Are they still around?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, because how originally that band got together was the singer was this guy named James Christian. He was from Connecticut. And Gene Simmons had a record label back in the 80s, and he put that band together with like Greg Giuffria and all those guys.
Yeah.
And so James, knew Jimmy and whoever else. And then when the band imploded like in the, the early 90s, they kind of put it back together in the late 2000s, early 2000s, and he's been in ever since. But he's like another monster, It's just there's a lot of great talent out of that part of the country, but
Yeah.
no one ever sees it because there's not really a scene, So
Isn't John Sykes from up there?
John Sykes is from England.
No, he's in New England right now, though, I believe.
Is
Has
he?
been with Blue Murder.
Yeah, but I mean he's originally from
I think he's
yeah.
but he's been in the New England area now.
Really?
for a
I don't
while,
know.
I'm pretty sure.
I've been up there and My whole family still lives up there, but you know. Anyways, hey, so let's get some Dharma King, some mighty Dharma King history here, because I'm not like really familiar with the band. I'm familiar, you know, with the recent stuff, but so you started the band then, I would think.
Well, actually, I joined a band where their singer quit, and they were called Target Practice.
Okay.
And then, so because their singer quit, I joined that, and then slowly, well, we needed a new name, so we couldn't find a name. Finding a band name,
No, yeah, it's
is
horrible.
freaking ridiculous. And
Oh,
I had
yeah.
that one on the back burner somewhere, so I pulled it up, and I was surprised all these guys liked it. Well, the weird thing about the band, they were all in AA. They were all in AA. It was an AA band, so we actually played some AA events and stuff, which was really kind of weird because
Okay.
they would sit there. They'd look all tattooed and
Right.
ready to be crazy, but they would just sit there like, God, I wish I could have a drink. But they would just sit there and watch us. And I thought they didn't like us. Then we'd get done and they're like, oh, you guys are really good at it and stuff. But anyway, slowly, each guy kind of got kicked out of the band. And I was the one that was left. And I was the first, you know. So I think I can joke about it with 1 out of 3 of them, and one wants to kill me, and one just dislikes me. So anyway, we've been kind of switching players,
Right.
and I had Adam Temple from Bob Schneider's band.
Yeah, I
what
know. Yeah, I know
what
you.
was his other band that was big? Scabs, or
You know, he was in the Scabs, Ugly Americans.
Yeah, I had a friend of mine, a great bass player, moved to New York, was in the band. He left. Tom replaced him. After we had 2 guitar players at one time, and Richard came along, and we didn't need 2 guitar players anymore. So Richard's been in the band. You were before Tom.
Yeah. It's been about-
I'm still auditioning, right?
Yeah,
You don't have the
these
gig
guys-
yet.
This unit here has been together the longest of any in the band's history, but it started probably 7 years ago.
Yeah, you've been doing this a long time. So,
Yeah.
Because I remember playing in other bands, and Dharma Kings was playing with us. So
And every time you'd see us, we'd have a different player.
exactly, the only one that was consistent was you.
Yeah, it was a revolving door, and you know, we were getting really good gigs, and some people couldn't hang and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So anyway, we got Richard, and then Tom's first gig was Rot Rally. Was that right?
Yeah.
Rod's first gig was Rot Rally, like 10,000 people,
Jesus.
and then
Baptism by Fire. I had like a week to learn the songs.
Yeah.
And
We
then we
pulled it
had a
off.
guy. This was the greatest thing because I charted everything out because I didn't know these songs. You know, had it on stage, and they had a photographer that David hired to come on stage and take live action shots. And the whole time he's taking these shots, he's standing on top of my charts. And I'm like, man, trying to look between his toes. Come on.
Yeah.
And then he kept kicking my wires out of my effects
Oh,
process.
no.
I'm like, fuck. But anyway, we got through it.
Yeah, it's like it's a very windy road to get where we are now, but it's got stability now. Drummer's been we've had some.
You got a new
changes
guy,
there.
right?
And now we have Mike Zioli. He's in Del Castillo.
Yeah. Because I think that the gig that I went to, that was his first night, right?
It was his first night.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, Mike's great.
Yeah, he's in Ohio with his family right now.
Oh, is he really?
So he'd be
Yeah,
here.
he's going to call in.
He'll be back tomorrow.
Either
night.
Mike or
He'll be back-
Jim, one of those two
Well,
guys.
Jim will
will.
call. I guarantee it's going to start ringing here in a minute.
Well, actually, I've been in the band for, I guess, going on 2 years now, if you can believe that.
It's
Wow.
more now because Rot Rally just passed.
Wow.
So it's right at-
Man, I've known you guys that long,
Yeah, damn.
and we're still playing together? We still kind of like each other?
So
Wow.
who did Rot this year?
I'm still alive.
You're still alive, so I guess you
Yeah.
guys played.
No,
I
you
mean,
meant
what was the
Rot.
lineup there?
Oh, Rot
Kings
Rally.
of
Right.
Chaos.
You meant Rot Rally.
Rot-
Kings of
Yeah,
Chaos.
he's not saying you're rotten.
Rigor mortis setting
Yeah.
in.
Rigor mortis sitting in.
Well,
I got arthritis.
You
now,
talked
so-
about formaldehyde before.
Well,
Anyway.
Yeah, we actually played Rot Rally this time at the Exposition Center this last year, but it wasn't as many people as that other time. But I think the headliner was all those guys that I was at dinner with.
Yeah.
Kings of Chaos.
Kings of Chaos.
There was
Yeah.
like 10
Yeah.
players in that band. It's like a superstar band or whatever.
Yeah.
And then the night that we played, it was the Texas Hippie Coalition headline.
Oh yeah.
Well, they had
Big Dad Rich.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Big guy.
yeah.
Well, they had 3 stages, so I mean, there's a lot of bands.
Did you get to? I like those guys. I hung out with those guys over at. They played South by maybe like 5 years ago, And I found them on YouTube. I don't know how. I was just kind of messing around on YouTube one day, and I found the hippies on there, and I don't know what it was, man. I just fell in love with those guys, So they played 2 free shows over, down at 6th Street. So I went down, hung out with them, and that Big Dad Rich, the sweetest guy on the planet. So nice, so cool, And it was because they portray to be these big biker thugs, but they're not even close to being, They have the kind of the Black Label Society vibe going with them. Because they have, they give vests away to their, guys that have been with them a long time, and that kind of a thing. So they got that whole vibe going on. But they're a great band, So I don't have no idea if you had a chance to see them or not. But
We did.
They're a great. I like them.
They went on right before us.
Yeah.
So we had a chance to see them.
Yeah, they're a bunch of cool guys. They're a great band too. So
It was a good show.
yeah.
Are you coming to the show Friday?
I'm going to the one on the 15th. Man, my girlfriend handles all my social stuff now. I got seriously, I got so much going on.
So we're playing with this band Junkyard that supposedly filled the first band that filled Texas
Over
Mist.
Texas Mist.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
And 99 Crimes is playing, and Force of Rage, which is Tom was in Force of Rage.
Are you doing double duty that night or?
No. I'm no longer in the band, but
He was.
I started the band. But they're great. I mean, they're a good band. I mean, all those bands that night are going to be good bands.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't been down there in a while. I talk to Jim all the time, but it's just, for me, it's a trek to get down there, and I'm so busy up here. To get down there even on a Friday night is too much for me, So I got one question. You opened up for Ace, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You got you get to hang out with him at all, or?
No, actually, his one of his handlers said that we had to get the F out of the side of the stage because Ace was coming through.
Really?
And I said,
"Wow,
no effing way." And
he needed a wide berth.
Yeah, so anyway,
Trust me,
so
he did.
I heard he was a little plump. That's what I heard.
Well, it wasn't just him. There were others with him on either side by necessity. So he definitely needed
security or something.
We left after 2 songs.
No, there was no security. I'm not talking about that.
I was really surprised. A lot of people were like, "Dad, they were great," and all this kind of stuff. And I was like, "What?"
Yeah, he put on a good show, but
I guess he did.
yeah, he just needed some assistance. He's getting up there in age.
Well, God, he's almost 70 years old, right? I mean, he's got to be.
Well, so are we.
Speak for yourself. I'm not 70 yet.
Wow. Didn't you say he was 70?
If you love Kiss, then you're gonna love him.
Oh yeah, of
right?
course. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
if there's bands that I loved and they're old and they can barely do it, I still love them. But
Yeah.
I was never a Kiss fan.
Right.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah. There's a lot of people a lot of people weren't. A lot. I mean, but there's a shit ton that were.
Yeah,
and
a
still
lot more
are.
were. So
Yeah. I mean, I kind of checked out. As a kid, it was it was big for me when I was a kid, but then I sort of checked out probably. I mean, I don't know. Late 90s maybe. Even
when
before
you hit
that.
13 and 14.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Because
But that was a good show though, because
it was a great show.
We
yeah.
were sandwiched between Puddle of Mud and Ace Frehley. This is back.
Well, that's a good place to be in the middle of, though, right?
Yeah, it was a great show.
I mean, it would have been.
And all those guys brought it. I mean, all kidding aside, all those guys, it was a great show.
Yeah.
All kidding about Ace, all that. He put on a great show. Puddle of Mud was great. I mean, and of course we had the mighty Dharma Kings.
The mighty Dharma Kings.
But it was like the weather forecast when we were leaving that night. It was like, don't even go outside because the whole town is going to flood. Your car could get washed away. So this is what's going on over the airways right before we're leaving. So we get there and there's about a 5% crowd to what it was the year before. The year before we opened for Cypress Hill. It was about 5,000. It was great.
No, APD estimated that crowd at 30,000. That Cypress Hill show that we did.
Is that
30,000 people?
They do that.
Okay, so it was more than 5.
Yeah,
but
so
it
that was
a
you-
lot.
you
That's
couldn't-
as far as you could see.
5,000
You couldn't see beyond the first 5,000.
Yeah.
But there were
Right.
people on the bridge. This is Congress Avenue. People on the bridge. People in the grassy area,
And just
the
a
grassy
mall,
knoll.
30,000. I mean, because
30,000
what does the
people.
bridge hold?
I don't know.
It was pretty massive.
Man, that sounds like 30,000. That's
But have
a
you
good
been?
chunk of people.
Have you been over there?
Yeah,
where the
I've done
Statesman
it.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it was just a wall of people.
That's crazy. Yeah, a 5% crowd of that is like, man, what's the point?
Yeah.
I wonder if because I know you could buy tickets and stuff. I mean, so were they refunded money?
No.
No?
Well, I don't know. That I heard they lost their butts. Like it's happening again this year, and we're playing again this year, but it almost didn't happen. They were trying to sell it or something.
Huh.
Because I mean, there was hardly anybody there.
That's crazy,
Well,
though.
that was weather related. So this
was
year,
weather related.
yeah, this year we're back again at Bat Fest, and it's August 19th. It's going to be a great show. We're going on right before the lead singer from Creed, whose name slips.
Scott Stapp. I
That's
think
it.
him?
That's it. So I mean, it's going to be a fabulous show.
Who was trapped?
There's a lot of good bands playing. People need to come out and see Bat Fest.
Check it out.
August 19th.
Everybody will be up for Bat
All of a
Fest.
sudden, this guy's like our DJ.
Yeah. August 19th.
August
Be
19th.
there.
Hey, you gotta but
Be
you
there.
know what? You gotta get your shit out there, because if you don't, you know, no one's gonna know where you're playing. So you gotta get it out there.
Sunday, right?
You gotta get it out there.
You've heard those
Friday times,
commercials.
Friday.
That's what this is all
No,
about.
I'm tying into like his Connecticut background here.
Oh God.
You heard those commercials, right? Sunday at National Speedway. You didn't hear all that stuff in
The
Connecticut?
National Speedway. Well, there was a speedway up in Massachusetts.
Right. We used to get
Yeah.
those commercials back.
My
in
dad
New
used to
York
race
City.
cars
Yeah.
up there when I was a baby. Used to like, I don't even know what kind of race cars they were, but they're like, you know, not like what they have today, but you know, baby race cars. I would say.
Trans Ams, maybe. I don't know.
I don't know, something like that. Who knows?
Firebird,
Firebirds,
Camaro,
something like that.
something,
Yeah,
you know.
all the fun stuff. Yeah, I mean, I go back once or twice, every couple of years. That's about it. I don't, you know, make a habit of it. I'll just put it to you that way.
So have you seen a big change in Connecticut?
Have I?
Yeah. Compared to when you were growing up there?
It seems a lot smaller after you live down here. So, you know,
Wide
it's
open
not as wide
spaces.
open as it used to be. So, anyways.
Because New York has changed a lot.
Yeah, the weird thing about it is, even like with Austin, and everybody will tell you, you know, I've been here, 25 years, and from the day I moved here to what it is now, it's two different worlds. It's not even close to being the same, you know. The music scene has totally changed, as everybody knows. But like I said, on the flip side of that coin, you know, to me, it was kind of going in a downward spiral for a while, and now it's kind of coming back up. And I mean, a lot of people don't believe it, but I really think that with a lot of the work that people are doing, I mean, I always mention on every podcast, you know, you got, you know, Dave doing Dave TV, you got Omar doing 512 Studios. You know, I'm slowly doing the thing that I'm doing. You know, I'm on episode 60 as of tonight, you know, and trying to put together events with Ear Splitting Media. And I mean, all the bills around, I mean, are just starting to be killer bills like they used to be, 4-band bills. I mean, instead of having like one, you know, cover band play, you know, 3 sets of covers that you've heard a million times. You got 4 original bands that are kicking ass, you know? And a lot of it is, too, it's like free cover.
Yeah.
How could you, I mean, you can't beat that with a stick. And that's, I know, trust me, I know it's like.
You've tried.
And that's
beat it with a stick.
But that's what I don't get is like, you know, and that's where I'm going to go next. And I'm sure I hope you guys chime in.
Richard,
no,
what are you doing back there?
No, I don't mean it like that. 'Cause I could tell by looking, you got I could tell you got opinions on it. You know what I mean? Because I do. You know, and I don't mind saying it. I really don't.
So where are we going? What do you want to know?
No, but what I'm saying is so I go see a 4-band bill. You got Broken Teeth. You got Dharma Kings. You got Dongle. You got who's the other one?
Darkness Ending.
Darkness Ending, which I loved. I thought those guys were fucking fantastic that night.
It's a great show.
Fucking no cover to get in.
Yeah, that's stupid.
And I'm like going,
crazy.
how the fuck are you no cover? I mean, for that kind of entertainment, no cover. But you go up the street to another venue and pay $10 to see a cover band that's playing 3 sets of covers.
Right.
I don't get the logic.
You know, I mean,
Who wants to touch this one?
I don't give a fuck. I really don't care because I'm really hoping that you know the venues might hear this and say, hey, you know what? We need to work with the bands more instead of doing this pay to play thing, or you know what I mean? Because that's ridiculous. No offense to the people that are doing it, but I mean,
Well, it's kind of a fine mixture of, you got to bring in the talent, you got to bring in the people, you got to sell the alcohol, you got to pay the bands.
I know. But I mean, if I look at it this way, if I don't know what the bands are getting paid. You know, I mean, I had a joke on with Bruce from Broken Teeth, and I was saying, man, he was talking about a gig that they did downtown or something. He goes, yeah, we had packed the place. I said, man, he must have made a lot of money, huh? And he goes, money? What's that? He goes, we getting paid for this? You know, that kind of thing, you know?
No, it certainly has changed pay-wise, but the whole industry has changed.
Oh, totally, I know,
You
yeah.
know, back when I started doing this as a kid, as a teenager, we made tons of money, toured the world because there was something called albums. and people would buy these albums, and record companies would give you money so you could record albums so they could sell them to people who would buy these albums. That doesn't exist anymore.
Well, I think, and I've talked to bands about this up here all the time. About, I mean, look at this, man. There's a lot of work that goes into this.
Mhm.
There's a lot of money that goes into this.
That's
You know
right.
what I mean?
Yeah.
That's right.
And, my old band did a CD. I know what goes into this. I
Right.
played in a band since I was a kid. It's not easy. It's not cheap. And it just, I saw him, just on stage giving them away like they were candy, and it was like kind of going, man, you know what? You need to try. I mean, I understand you to get it out there, but try to get a little bit of that back. I mean, just,
Well,
you know what I mean?
We
Just,
had a merchandise girl for a little while. But it's kind of a lot of effort to kind of exchange money. It's a lot easier to throw things out.
as I can tell.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Wait, I only this is a prop. This is coming back with
is
me
it-
when
is
we
it?
leave. Give it all
Yeah.
I
back.
want
He
Tom to feel
lied.
free to give this stuff away because I'm the one that paid for it.
Well, we're trying
David
to.
bought all this, and you're giving it away.
I'm just playing.
I'm going to give
glad.
it back to David then. No, we're trying to promote the band. I mean,
Right, yeah,
there's
yeah.
a whole process involved with promoting your band, getting your name out there. Look, we already became the mighty Dharma Kings,
Yep.
right? Because we gave shit away to you.
Well,
So, I mean, it's a matter of promotion.
Yeah, yeah.
there's people that actually listen to it
Yeah.
when you give it to them, and then you see those people again at a show,
Yeah.
and they actually know a song or two,
That's cool.
and that feels pretty good.
No.
Yeah.
And again, it's a whole different dynamic now as far as bands and promoting yourself, and are you being successful in that promotion? And one of the measures is Facebook.
Yeah, no kidding.
For better or for worse, that's how people measure success. And this week we hit 50,000 likes on
Yeah.
Facebook. So I guess we're doing something right.
Yeah, like some people listen to it in weird places.
Well, same thing with this podcast. I hear the craziest shit. It's like people are like, I listen to the podcast while I'm mowing my lawn. And a lot of people listen to their car or at work. That's their main thing,
Yeah.
And it's cool. But like I said, I was talking to Bruce about the next Broken Teeth show when you guys are on. I said, man, let's put like an event together, like a real big event. Because I remember last time you guys played over there, it was like how many people? What, 20, 30 people maybe? In and out all night?
It was more than
I
that.
don't know.
Was it?
Hanover's? We always get a pretty good crowd at Hanover's.
But I mean, for those 4 bands, I mean, if we can do the event right, and I'll tell you, sharing on Facebook it's ridiculous,
It's kind
man.
of hit or miss because we played a
Yeah.
Broken Teeth there the time before, and it was pretty packed.
yeah, it was
Yeah, was
wall-to-wall
it?
people. So,
Yeah.
but something else was going on that night somewhere, somehow, somewhere.
And that's another thing
We
too.
never know. It's
Yeah.
like we'll walk into. I'm thinking, God, it's not going to be here, and then it's like, there's
Yeah.
a lot of people, and then I think this was going to be big, and there's like hardly anybody.
It's hit or miss.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and plus, I mean, it like I say with my thing is like I get honestly probably 15, 20 invites a week to go to shows, and it's like you have to really kind of pick and choose what you're doing. So like last weekend, me and my girlfriend, we hit like 3 clubs in one night and we saw a set from 3 different bands, that kind of a thing. And we're trying to go out and do that so we can kind of,
It used to be more convenient when everybody was on 6th.
yeah. Now everybody's like spread out everywhere. So
Right. Well, that's part of the change we've seen in Austin too, where clubs have moved off of 6th Street. And,
Yeah.
And now it's not it's a situation where you go to a club and it's a destination club now. It's not like you're going to go bar hopping, like you do on 6th Street. But
yeah.
like Hanover's, I mean, if you're going to Hanover's, you're staying at Hanover's. You're not going downtown after that.
Yeah, I haven't been on 6th Street for like a show in forever. I mean, I used to go down there for like what was what was the big place down there off of 6th? Was it something music hall?
Austin Music Hall.
Austin Music
Yeah,
Hall. There
yeah.
you go. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that closed down years ago.
Yeah, they closed
Yeah.
that down. So there's every once in a while you go over there, to see a band on 6th or whatever, but
Right.
very rare. I mean, there's nothing down there for our kind of genre now.
Well, it's funny because we played a great show on 6th Street about 6 weeks back at the Dirty Dog. We played with OTEP.
Oh,
And it was fabulous. It was a great show. It was a great crowd, great show. there's new management over at Dirty Dog. The stage is phenomenal. The lights are great.
They got the
Shout
sound-
out to Rob over there at Dirty
Yeah,
Dog.
And they got the sound guy from Texas Mist.
Yeah, Mikey. Shout out to Mikey too. So.
Was Epi the Third on that?
Yes.
Yeah, they
I think
came up here.
opened,
Yeah, they were up here.
right? That was the band that was
Yeah,
first.
like a two-piece, the drummer and
yeah.
the other guy.
They had an interesting closing song.
What was that? You don't remember?
I think it was called Vampire Vomit. You guys missed it.
Nothing wrong with that.
You guys missed it.
Vampire vomit.
The lead singer got a little ill on stage.
Oh, did he? Oh, God.
And came running off the stage
yeah,
and
that's right.
didn't
Good
quite
Lord.
make it to the bathroom, and the drummer kept playing.
I missed that.
It was. I wish I could say I missed it. So.
Yeah, they got a big tour coming up. They're going out like I think this month for like the whole month of July. They're going to be out like they're playing like 3-4 times a week all over the country. So
Well, they're a good act. I mean, I don't know if that was part of their show,
I don't
but they were good. They were real good.
vomit on stage. I'm sure that's been done before. So yeah, but anyways, what Ear Splitting Media is trying to do, they're trying to like put together bigger shows and get people to come out to the shows and support everything. And
Yeah, I'm impressed with that group. I like them a lot too. I mean, everybody I met through that group is, I don't know, really friendly, good people.
Oh, yeah, they're
and
super.
And the bands that are associated with them, are strong talent, all original music.
yeah. So I hooked up with them about a month ago, and so they're doing all my stuff now. And so we're kind of like doing stuff for each other, and
Are
it's
they like a promotion company or
yeah,
something?
they do social media. Like they will handle your social media accounts, and I just got on Twitter. How long's Twitter been around? I'm just getting on it now, and they're helping me with that. They made up a little video for me. I don't know if you guys saw it or not. It was like a little kind of screenshot video promoting the podcast and everything. And but what their main thing is they have like I think 5 or 6 people on their team, but they have their own people. And when you put a post out, they share that like gangbusters. So
Yeah, I've seen it. Like if we play with a band that's on a band that they work with or something, it's like it's the most promotion ever.
yeah,
It's like you get barraged with it,
yeah.
which is pretty cool, and because it's not coming from the band themselves, which the self-promoting thing.
It's tough.
It's also it can look kind of bad too.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, you're totally just. It's the same thing with my logo. I mean, I'm sure probably half the people have turned off my Facebook page because they see that damn logo every like twice a week. They're like, man, enough of this shit already. We get it. You got a podcast. Okay, we get it. But that's what you got to do. You got to push, and push.
Absolutely.
And promote. But I mean, their thing is, I'll tell you. For instance, Freebleeder was on, and just for Facebook Live, I was getting. It was a pretty steady stream of people watching it. Would be between 300-400 views during the podcast, and the first one that they did, with the media thing, with all the shares and everything, it was like it ended up at like 1,200 views overnight. So it's working. It's slowly getting out there.
Right. Right.
And that's what their group does. So any band out there or any kind of situation you had that needs promotion or social media, they're the ones, because I think they're doing like an online mag now and stuff, and an online video. I think a YouTube video series where it's called about on town or something like that, where they go out and interview bands, and
Yeah.
so it's killer.
Well, we did a couple of shows with them, right? That they sponsored.
Yeah, we kind of snuck on. The cancer benefit was one.
Oh, okay, yeah.
They let us sneak in every once in a while.
We're the sneaky Dharma Kings
The
now.
sneaky Dharma
We're
King.
mighty sneaky, aren't we?
No, man. I mean, I think you're welcome on any show, because I see you guys play with a ton of different, ton of different bands, and I'm sure if they didn't want you on the bills, they wouldn't have you play, right?
Oh, we can play with any band we please.
You just walk in.
He pleases them.
Hey, now.
No, Richard pleases them. The three. That's what we have.
He brings him to his cardboard box there with the,
That's why we have those 3 queens, so we can please those bands.
He's got some good cruise ship stories too.
cruise ships. You work on a cruise ship?
No.
You don't have any good
He
cruise
wants
ship
to.
stories?
He
Do you
wants
know
to.
any cruise ship stories?
My brother does.
Oh.
My brother, I've told you some good. That was on him, not on me. I'm not nearly as crazy as these two guys would even, make you
I don't know. I think
you're freaking crazy.
I think you're.
That's why he's so quiet.
Yeah, that's the quiet ones you got to worry about.
It's 2017, and you're a rock musician. You're crazy.
Oh well.
Hey, you do it because you love it, man.
That's, you know, it's,
That's what you do.
you know,
I mean, that's why I do what I do up here because I fucking love doing it. I mean,
Yo,
if you don't
hey,
love doing it, why are you going to do it? Right?
do, huh?
No, I'm serious.
That's
I
what
have a
you do.
That's why we do it.
I'll tell you, I
You
have.
know, it's not about selling a CD.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
not about selling a T-shirt.
Right, right,
It's
right.
not about the Facebook likes.
Yeah.
It's because it's
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 you
a
like it.
great break from regular life.
Yeah.
And it keeps us young.
yeah.
It keeps us young. There
That's
we
it.
go.
That's the
Hey,
reason.
you got a tank top in here?
You gonna put one on now?
You can put one on right now.
These are actually pasties. These things.
Damn.
Is that what those
Here you
are?
go, here.
Oh my God.
Pasties. Put them on.
Beautiful. Yeah. So, anyways, if you do need any media, you need to talk to them because I mean they're fucking pros at what they do, and it's like I mean I can't talk good enough about them because they've helped me so much because I mean being the age I am, I'm just kind of illiterate when it comes to social media. I really am. I can do Facebook pretty well, but after that, I'm done. You know, I got a 5-year-old kid that next door that can shows me more than I've ever seen in my life how to promote yourself. So
Yeah, the kids are like on apps that I've never even heard of.
yeah. That's one thing I want to get into too. I was talking to my girlfriend. She has a friend that actually makes apps for Apple and for
How do you make an app?
that. Yeah,
I
it's
think you have to code.
You write the
yeah,
code.
it's code.
It's coding.
It's fucking
Yeah.
expensive though. It's
Oh.
really expensive. It's like
Yeah.
it costs like $2,000 just to do it. Then you have to upkeep it because you have to keep adding stuff to it, of course. And yeah, I was like,
It's software. That's all it is.
yeah. But there's people that it's a big business now because everybody's got an Android phone or an iPhone or something or whatever.
Right.
So it's a big business. So if you know how to do it,
I had a flip top.
did you?
Yeah, I was forced to get one of these. I wanted one with the antenna.
Let me tell you something, man.
The fat one.
The only reason I have an iPhone is because my Motorola, the Razor. Remember the Razors?
Yeah, it's discontinued.
Yeah. Well, no. Anyway, I dropped it in a toilet, and that was the end of that story. So I went over to AT&T to get another phone, and I'm like, hey, I need to see if I can replace this Razor, and they're looking at me like, going, what? A Razor? We don't make those anymore. I'm like, what?
They don't have the antennas.
Yeah, no antennas. I had one with a the suitcase phone. Remember that?
Yeah, hell yeah. the curly cable. Yeah.
I had a buddy that had one of those. We did a tour like in it was a miniature tour of my old band, and my guitar player was one of those trust fund babies, and he had a ton of money. Great guy. I mean, you would never know he had a lot of money if you talked to him or whatever, but he was well taken care of. But he had one of those big phones. Remember, you plugged into your cigarette lighter in the car, but it was like probably like that big.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, one of those, and we
Crank it.
Yeah, it cost like it was like 75 minutes of 75 cents a minute, one of those kind of deals,
Yeah.
So every time we got to use it was like, oh shit, it's a big deal because I mean they didn't have those back in 94, 95.
So you just talk fast.
Yeah, talk real fast. It was basically used for emergencies and stuff like that. But yeah, technology is just crazy now.
I see all the KISS memorabilia up there.
Well, I'll explain that. No.
And he
really
said
God, man.
he said he
No,
wasn't
no.
into Kiss.
Oh, no, this is
Really
this is what happened.
Truth comes out.
No, I'm going to
Those
tell you the truth right now.
Tequila bottles too.
Oh.
That's from those are from past podcasts. Believe it or not. I had a bunch of like action figures and stuff people would buy me over the years, like older ones and stuff. And it got to the point where I had so many of them that I just put them in the closet, put them in boxes and everything. So my girlfriend, we're kind of redoing this house and everything. And she goes, you really want these damn things? What are you going to do with them? So I'm like, you know what? Let's just get rid of them. So we set by set sold them all. And these were out of the box. So you really can't really sell them. So I said, you know what? I'll just put them on the top tier and just leave them there. And they've been there since last
So
September.
nobody would buy the Kiss action figures, huh?
No, the
box.
the one in the boxes, man. I fucking made a killing on those. Big money.
Oh, you got an ace up there.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
so there was just 2 sets that were out of the box, and so I said,
It
instead
still
of
looks the same.
yeah, you need like Dharma King action figures. How about those?
Okay.
What would those be?
I don't know. That's our next thing. Action figures, bobbleheads.
Bobbleheads. Those are big. I actually need to talk to a Freebleeder. They could tell you with some merchandise. They got a whole bunch of crazy stuff. So, have
Yeah, that band tries hard.
you seen that comic book?
Yeah, we played with them the night of their comic book opening.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, they brought that up here. I was like, what? I'm like, oh, this is
That-
crazy.
That's a
This is-
strong effort. we just try to show up on time.
Forget sound check. We're just gonna plug right in and go. You know?
Yeah, we don't need that sound check jazz.
They even do sound checks anymore?
Kind of.
You still get them? Or you just get a little line check every now
Well,
and
we
then?
got a sound check for Rod Rally, right? We got a half-hour sound check.
Semi.
No, that worked out well. Like I said, they had 3 stages. So as one band was setting up on stage A, the next band was playing on B, and so on. So you got a real sound check. It was nice.
That's how they were doing the. Was it the Rock Fest? Was that Heart of
Oh,
Texas
yeah.
Rock Fest down in
Yeah.
South by?
Yeah, that's right. They had 2 stages there.
Yeah. Well, they had one next. There's like one band. They had one big stage, but left and right kind of thing. So
Right.
when one band was
Right.
playing, them set
Right.
up, yeah.
Right.
So, have you guys done that before?
Yeah, like 5 times.
So I mean, how did it work for you? Pretty well, or
It's yeah, it depends if it's raining or not, or
Oh.
if they have it together or not.
Yeah, I mean, my first gig was with Rockfest,
Oh yeah,
and it was raining like hell. And so they go, "Oh, I'm asking, where do you plug in?" They're like, "Oh, over there," and it's just an outlet underwater, covered in water. I'm looking at Dave. Dave's, man, I sing. So I'm going, well, this is going to be either bad or real bad. So I just
bad
kinda,
or real bad?
yeah.
So how bad was it?
I just gritted my teeth and like, oh shit, it didn't happen.
Man,
Nothing
I'm glad I
happened.
missed that
Was
Oh
one.
that
my
the- was that
God.
The year the amp was blown, the Vox. It was a Vox.
Oh yeah,
It was-
they had a back line and their amps. I blew one of their amps out. And
Oh.
I don't.
They didn't charge you for it, did they?
No. It wasn't my fault.
Well, there was one. I mean, this recent one. There was one guy that I heard down there. It was a drummer. I don't know if it was for that gig. It was for some other gig that they had a ton of bands that one day, and he was charging the drummers like $75 a piece to use his drum set instead of like to have to tear down and put up his their drum set. They could use
Where
his
was
kit.
this?
It was
Rockfest.
it was I think it was Rockfest.
Was it
Yeah,
Rockfest, really?
that's what I heard. Yeah, there's a band up here telling me about it.
Huh.
Was
And they
that-
said because like a lot, you only get like a lot of time. It was like a half an hour or 40
Well,
minutes.
the thing is, they'll
I don't
tell
know.
you that they've got A, B, C, and D, so you bring E that you're missing,
right.
and then you get there and they've got A and D, so you're like scrambling around. So you've got to hit somebody up, and somebody was probably looking as an opportunity to make some money.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to play your 30-minute set, you're gonna need to borrow my stuff, but that's
So he left his kid up there, and he was charging $75 for the drummers. I was like, this is
Damn.
crazy. I don't know. I don't know who paid it, but I guess some people did. That's just that's just ridiculous. It was probably some local guy too, so I don't know. So if you're out there, don't pull that shit next year.
Was that you?
No.
You got a set of drums at your
No,
house?
drums.
What happened to those drums that
That
were
was
in our
Bruce.
studio?
That was Bruce that did that. Bruce needs some extra money. Actually, Jason needs to pay him more. That's what the deal is.
it's tough out there.
It's tough for a pimp, huh?
I saw this thing on Facebook that he's teaching a camp, all these kids in there, rock camp, and then he's in like 6 or 7 bands. He's always gigging. and it's
Oh,
like, he's
Yeah,
making it.
He's busy.
he's a
busy.
beast, man. I'll tell
I
you.
mean, sweet fella. That's a good fella.
Yeah.
You can't need more tequila.
You got as many as you want, son.
Yeah, right.
I do have a beer in here if you want it.
Yeah, he'll take it.
Yeah.
I'll drink a beer.
That's all I have was one left, so you have to fight over
I
it.
don't
Nah,
drink
he
it.
can have it.
This is like
I'm congested.
this is
so.
this is
Oh, this is
congested.
actually a good beer.
Is it?
What is
I
it?
don't drink beer, so
Test Twisted X.
Huh.
Twisted X.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Someone people bring all sorts of crazy shit up here, so it's all those designer beers now. Everybody drinks all the
That's a
designer stuff,
beer.
you know.
That's a good beer.
I quit drinking beer. It makes you fat. And you get a little older, man. You just have to. One beer will make you fat.
It does.
Yeah, I hit like when I hit 30, I ballooned up to like 220, like in a matter of like 4 months. And so I've been like a beanpole my whole life, and all of a sudden my metabolism went down and so anyways it was like salads and chicken and all that shit for like 6-7 months. So I've been like 175 for the past almost 20 years. So it's about how you treat yourself, though, man. It's tough when you get older. And I was telling those guys for Black Heart Saints, I said, when you guys go out, because this is like their first tour, I said, you guys go out. Number one thing, man, is Don't be hitting burger joints every freaking night and all that shit. Because dude,
Well,
on the road, that kicks your
Whataburger's
ass.
okay, right? Right, Richard? Whataburger?
Dude, I'm telling you, man,
Parking lot.
that's the worst shit for you. Makes you feel like crap, and
If you're gonna drink high quality alcohol.
yeah,
With as little mixers as possible.
they brought some stuff up here I never heard of. I don't know. It was
It's a little tip from your Uncle Dave.
Eat salad bars.
Salad bar.
or drink
Not a bar.
tequila.
Salad bar and tequila.
Or fast. Fasting is great.
That'll work too.
Fast
I
and-
tried that one time.
Fast
IHOP.
and then tequila.
I did that for a
Yeah.
week one time. I don't
A
know.
whole week fasted. That's pretty hardcore. You drank water though.
I did water, yeah. I couldn't do the, but it was like I was hallucinating at the end. I really was, and I said, I think I have to stop this. So I had this girlfriend at the time. She was like a yoga instructor or whatever, and she was like, she'd like once every couple 2-3 months she would do it, and
Could
so
she twist into a pretzel?
pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
At the time, I hadn't seen her lately, but so anyways, I tried it for a week, and it was like, I mean.
A week's a long time.
Yeah, well, she used to do did like a month fast a couple of times, and it was like, what the fuck? I mean, that's just. And then when you come off of it, you got to wean yourself off. You can't like
Right.
be into going steaks right away. It's like you got to
Drink some carrot juice.
like juice, and then you this and that and that and this or whatever. But yes, I did it for a week, and it was like I started seeing shit. And I was like, I'm kind of, I mean, like I'm seeing dead people and stuff, and just animals I had 20 years ago, and just crazy stuff, and it was so.
Huh.
I don't know, man. What are you gonna do? But but as you do get
Whatever
older,
works,
whatever works, yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, I guess. I don't
So
know.
she would fast for a month?
She did it. Yeah, I remember
Wow.
one time
month?
when I
That's
met
what he
her.
said.
Wow.
When
That's
I
why,
met
that's
her-
why you can't see her anymore.
When I met her, when I met her, she was coming. She was 3 weeks into a 4 month, or not 4 month, 4 week fast.
So she was hallucinating when she saw you.
Pretty much.
And that's why it worked so well.
Yeah, it worked. It worked really well for about 6 months, and then
And she started eating again.
and then she goes, "Oh man,
Oh my God! It's I'm married to the python.
the python." No, we
The
didn't
mighty
even,
python.
the mighty python. Yeah, we did not even come close to marriage. That was not, so
That you know of
that I know of. Yes,
that week.
It might have happened while you were hallucinating.
I'm glad. I've never
Were
been
you
married,
in
though.
Vegas while you were hallucinating? by
No,
any
I was
chance?
not.
Okay, then
I'd like
chances
to.
are
I
you're
would
not
like to try
married.
that sometime
Vegas
though.
is a really bad place to hallucinate.
Yeah, I love that town, but I've never hallucinated there. So,
I have.
have you really?
Yes, it's unnerving. A forest is much better.
It was really.
A mountainside is much better.
It's strange that you mentioned that. I went to Portland. Actually, I was in Washington. It was on the border of Oregon, and there's nothing but woods up there. I don't know if you've ever been up there or
I've
not.
been there, yes.
Yeah, it's funny because you fly over it, and you all these people that believe in Bigfoot and all that kind of stuff, and they're like, that's where you're supposed to be. And you fly over it, you fly over the Rocky Mountains and stuff, and you're
We
like
all-
going,
We all believe in Bigfoot.
do you really?
We have a song about that.
It's
Do you
one-
really?
One of the
Yeah.
things we have most in common.
Yeah, we have
Yeah.
Well,
Phantom Killer. You got to come and hear us play it.
Well,
Friday night.
Friday
Texas
night.
Mist.
Texas
Jim's
Mist.
Club.
Jim's Club.
Where's Jim?
Did Jim call? Because I mean,
Jim, I'm disappointed.
we might have to
Jim.
call
You're not-
Jim here in a minute.
You
'cause I-
haven't called in, Jim. I mean, yeah.
well, he said he had a band on there tonight, so
Yeah, he has let some bands rehearse there sometime.
he does. Yeah.
On a Wednesday? Is this Wednesday?
Well, when we
Oh
did
no,
that,
they've got a gig tonight. They've got
oh,
Force
they
of
have
Rage is playing.
That's right. They have
Yeah.
a show
And
tonight.
then
yeah,
some bands was
some other band.
well, it was funny.
that band.
Yeah,
that band, those guys.
There's
some
four
band.
bands playing tonight.
There's four bands playing.
One,
Go
two,
down
three, and
there.
4. Yeah, that's it.
No, because he called on the podcast, and 99 Crimes was down there rehearsing,
Oh.
Yeah,
and so Paul Lydell and came on the phone and talked to us for a couple minutes, and he didn't really want to talk to us, so it only lasted about 30 seconds.
Ah.
But Jim was on there for like 20 minutes. You can't get Jim off, off the phone. I mean,
Yeah, I'm glad you clarified that.
I had to clarify,
Yeah, I was in shock for a moment.
Think about that.
even though he's had his little, his mail review down there. He's actually. Did you hear about that?
No,
Yeah.
he had a male
Yeah,
review at that
Chippendale.
club.
He had the, he had
Yeah.
they were from Las Vegas. Had these Chippendale guys there,
Yeah,
and
wow.
I heard about that. Yeah.
yeah, so he's actually having them there again.
Was it a success?
Hell yeah, it was. From what I understand, the women actually cleaned out his ATM. The ATM ran. No, seriously, this is no lie. The ATM, the girls were throwing 20s at these guys, and Jim goes, my ATM, I ran out of money, and I don't know how much is in an ATM, but
Hey guys, musicians, starving musicians, Here's a way to make some money.
Well, the funny thing was that
We got to get naked.
is Josh from the Saints that were up here the night. That he's a good-looking little kid. He's a little beefcake. So he's going to be the main event on the next
Really?
stripper thing. We're going to put him in there, and hey, because they have a GoFundMe account for their band for their tour. So
How's that working out for him?
I don't know. I haven't looked at it.
Well, where's Facebook? Get online, look at it.
No. So I told him, I said, hey, instead of doing a GoFundMe, I said, why don't you just go down to Texas Miss and sling some dick down there for a little bit, and
Yeah.
A little tip from your Uncle Bobby.
Yeah. Doesn't
Dave's
sound
like, why don't you come up here tonight? I thought we were going to talk about my band and stuff. We're not talking about all this
Can
stuff.
we
This is
leave
better than
now?
talking about our band.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, you don't want to talk about us.
No, of course I do.
What do you want to know?
What do I want to know?
That's Dave.
I know. We know Dave. It's really funny because we were going to.
It's Richard over here.
Actually, we're going to Hanover's to go see. I think your
Oh yeah.
your show, right?
Yeah, and
So we go out here and we turn left, and there's that billboard right there, and you're on it. I just started laughing because I just thought it was the funniest thing. Because it's like,
pretty weird. Right?
isn't it pretty weird how we're going to see your band and you're up on the billboard?
That
So,
doesn't happen too often.
how long you been doing that
Was
for?
this Hanover's again?
With the billboard?
Yeah, the billboard thing.
Since 5 years, 5-6 years.
I need to get a billboard.
They're cheap in Pflugerville.
No, so hey, when we were playing the Rot Rally, Dave's wandering around. We're all kind of wandering around waiting to get on
Right,
stage
right.
and play. And a guy walks up to him and says, "Hey, you look like that guy on the billboard."
Yeah, I was like, man, I hear that all the time.
Yeah,
I hate that guy.
that guy owes me some money. That's fun. I mean, but that's just genius, though. It really is. When you think about it, it's fucking genius.
It was fear and survival, and like I got 2 teenagers, and they're not your average teenagers, and I've got 16 employees. It's like
Really, get that many?
yeah, you
Wow.
gotta make things happen.
Shit, you're making them happen, though, man. Good for that's. I mean,
Well, today they are.
yeah,
You never know about tomorrow.
yeah, that's true.
You got to keep at it.
Yeah, but it's funny because you go on 35 right opposite that billboard. There's another lawyer with his face on the billboard.
It ain't nowhere near as cool though.
It's definitely not.
When I first put him up, I was the only one in town.
Yeah.
But that lasted for about 6 months, and then other people started moving in. They were like, "No way, am I giving you monopoly on that?" But they all look the same. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's what you.
To me, in this town, they're like invisible
Well, you got the one guy with the cowboy hat.
on TV. Yeah.
Who's the guy and I get this all the time on this thing. Everybody starts goofing around, starts talking about the guy that sells used cars. He has these little wacky costumes that you know what I'm talking about?
I know who you're talking about.
And-
He now has 2 locations.
Right. because
I can't tell you his name, but he has 2 locations.
He's a marketer.
I know you could put $1 down and buy a car today or something.
Hey,
like
but
that.
people. The people that succeed at anything are the people that keep at it, man. And they.
It's like I've got a lawn, and it was like fresh sod down, and it was like not looking so great. So I wanted to get somebody to come and make it real dark green and beautiful. And then I saw. You ever see that guy that advertised? He has the tarantula on his head. And his head is
so that
shaved.
guy. Yeah.
So I was like, all right, that guy looks pretty freaky. So I called him. I called him twice. He never called me back. I ended up hiring somebody else. That's a side note, but it worked. It worked. It
I
got
just
me.
thought he had a bad toupee.
It's
That was
really-
a spider.
Spider.
Well, I guess the spider would be considered a
He'd
bad
probably be
toupee.
pissed if he knew that I called twice because I've pretty good account with his other people now.
Yeah, well, whatever. Anyway,
Well,
enough,
anyways, but
enough
yeah.
about personal injury and lawn care. Let's get on to more important.
Really want
things.
to.
Yeah, let's talk about New York and how it's changing.
I couldn't even talk to you about that because I don't.
I
even,
bet I could.
all day long.
Let's
no,
hear
but,
about that.
no, but like I said, the thing about Austin is, and people that when they leave here and they go somewhere else, is Austin is like there's so much going on. There's so many different things going on because when I first moved here, it was like a hippie town.
Yeah.
It was a hippie town. You had the hippies and you had like the college people, and then you had some other little scenes. Now there's like so many different kind of groups and nationalities and and people from all these different parts of the country. It's not even like Austin anymore. There's like a little bit of Austin. It's like sort of how it used to be. You know what I mean?
You know, all I can say is that it's grown so much, but it's still retained its cool. In
Yeah.
a way. It's still the best place to live that I've been to.
That's what I'm trying. That's where I'm going with it. Is because when people leave Austin and they go somewhere else, they're like, man, this place ain't even half as cool as where I left, you know, or whatever. And same thing with bands. When bands go out of town, they play like gigs, like say in Dallas, Oklahoma City, and Wichita, Kansas. They're like,
I can't wait to get the
they
hell out
can't
of
wait
there.
to get out of there because there's no scenes.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, Dallas has a little bit of a scene, I guess, but it's not
Dallas.
like how Austin is. Austin's like just starting to kick in every night of the week again, and it's just because there's so much here.
Yeah, so much going on all the time.
Yeah, there's just so many great bands, you know, and I think that may be the problem why, you know, people gotta have to pick and choose what they're doing, you know. So
Well, I think my theory on the rock clubs is that there's so many festivals, and people come here and they'll go out for a week straight at South by Southwest watching music, and or ACL for 2 weekends in a row or something like that, all day long, and they're just burnt after that. It's like
Yeah.
they're good for 6 months, 9 months, you know, and they just keep adding more and more festivals. If you look on Chronicle or Facebook, new festivals are popping up all the time.
yeah, well, it's funny because like even with like, you know, the major bands, you know, a lot of them aren't doing tours anymore. They're all just playing these festivals, you know, where it, you know, like Rocklahoma turns into that weekend, and then like, you know, the next day they're down at this, you know, San Antonio River Rock Fest because they just go from one thing to another, you know, and it's just a lot easier because they're like a smaller band like Blackstone Cherry, you know, love those guys. They're a smaller band. I mean, they play to maybe if they're lucky 500, 600, 700 people, right? But they go on those big festivals playing with Disturbed, they're playing with, you know, the Scorpions or, you know, whoever's, or Guns N' Roses on those, whatever, those things. And they got built-in crowds, you know? So it's, for them, it's like, fuck, let's just go do it. And I don't know how much they're, you know, if they're making any money off it. 'Cause I know a lot of bands have to pay to get on those. You know, the ones that play the first slots in the morning, 10 o'clock slots or whatever in the morning, they're paying, you know, the record companies are paying, you know, buku money, you know. Yeah, someone was telling me, I mean, I can't remember who it was, but there was a band, Motley Crue's farewell tour was what, Motley Crue, Alice Cooper, and there was this opening band that played with them. I can't remember the name of them, but their record company or investors put up $1 million so that they could go play that tour with those guys,
Well,
and that's just
whoever
crazy money.
Somebody opened for Kiss all over the place, and one of the guitar players is a billionaire. So he paid Kiss directly, something like $10,000 a show to open up,
Jesus.
which is nothing. Like if you're a billionaire, $10,000.
No, penny,
is
10
like,
grand's nothing. Yeah.
It's like 10 cents.
Yeah. But it's just, that's where it's gone. You know what I mean? And it's,
That's sad.
isn't that crazy? You gotta pay to, you know, and I mean, a lot of those bands are just, you know, when you go see the Ozfest and all that kind of stuff, and they're on that small stage and they're open up at like 9 a.m, and those guys probably, you know, are sharing, you know, cutting a hamburger up into 5 pieces. That's their lunch. You know what I mean? Because they just have to, they can't afford to be out there. It's crazy. I don't know how they're doing it.
Yeah, there's a lot of bands around that have some money behind them in the family.
Yeah, I would think
the
so.
record companies aren't really pumping money into anything anymore. The record companies are falling apart.
Yeah.
If you look at Billboard now and compare it to 20 years ago, I did this the other day. We went back, and it was like it used to be like Bruce Springsteen, Tom Petty, Metallica was even on there. Like it was inundated with like rock bands, cool stuff. John Cougar Mellencamp, whatever it was.
Yeah, yeah.
Now we went down there and we had to get to number 82 to find a rock band, and that rock band was Blink. What's it called? Blink 182. When I looked, Chainsmokers had 3 in the top 10, and Justin Bieber had 2 in the top 10, and then it's like Taylor Swift and Katy Perry. That's what the world is now,
Yeah.
man. And my kids listen to that.
I'm gonna puke.
And they've never bought a record in their lives. They just, I get these things that you got 99 cents on Apple, you know, it's because of my credit card.
Right,
so I get
right, right,
notice. They just buy singles. And it's the same singles that are on the dang radio.
Yeah.
And then they make me ride around. We're in the car, like, can you put that on? I'm like, God, really? If I'm in a bad mood, I'm like, no. And so I make them switch to something else to listen to, like the Beatles or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
But they listen to like their life is like 15 songs, and then when pop radio changes, they kind of change with it. And I just figure that my kids are representative of other kids because
Yeah.
I can't say they're normal, but
That's what's selling, though.
they're what I know.
It's just, I mean, it's just, it's
sad.
it's just really sad. It really is. I mean, I call it like fast food music. Like you just drive through McDonald's and you buy your hamburger, you eat it, you throw the wrapper out the window. That's how music is these days. It's just like so disposable, you know?
Yeah, I meet cool people, man, and they say, yeah, I tell them a little stuff about that, and they're like, but I like the chain smokers. I'm like, oh God, somebody shoot me, please.
You know, it's like, it's funny for me because, like, you know, when I was a kid, there was a certain couple, 2, 3, 4 bands that I really dug, you know, and I never really listened to anybody else, you know? And so now being an adult, I'm going back to like the Deep Purple and the, you know, and the Beatles and the Who and the Stones. I'm going back to all that stuff. And for me right now, it's like I'm going into like, you know, the super old Deep Purple records and the you know, like, you know, like taking like an album like Sgt. Pepper's and really listening to it, or taking the White Album and really listening to it, you know? And for me, it's like, this is the shit, you know what I mean? And I'm like a little kid again. It's weird.
That's why tribute bands are big, because they're because well, at least they're playing music that I like, that I can relate to, and it's rock. And that's why these bands are touring and they're like, you know, 75 years old, because they have the hits that people want. They're still
making money.
And the new bands, it's hard to. It's like an underground thing, which is one thing Texas Miss is great. They bring these underground bands in.
Yeah. That's what Jim's trying to do. Like with the, he's trying to bring back. Were you here when the back room was around or no?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Well, he's trying to bring that whole vibe back, because that was a big scene for us back. You know, for me, like in the '90s. You know, until it closed. You know, and that was the same thing. You would go in on a Tuesday night, and there'd be 3 killer, you know, original bands, or you know, had a road show or whatever too. But it was, the scene was just a whole different animal, because people used to come out, you know, and, you know, promote the bands. But you're looking at the demographic again, you know, because, okay, we're late 40s, 50s, and all that kind of stuff. Our demographic is people that support us are like, you know, they got jobs, they got kids, they got grandkids, they don't go out every night anymore. So you kind of have to try to maybe attract the younger crowds to get them out there. And there's a band called Chasing After Alice.
Yeah, we've played with them
a
couple times.
They're coming up in a couple weeks. And they're like, I mean, I don't even think they're even 21. They're super young.
Yeah, they have a lot of energy.
Yeah, and they're slaying it. I mean, like, good God. I mean, I wish I had half that energy, you know? But they're super hungry, and they're ready to get out there and kick some ass. And it's refreshing to see, you know, because for them, their journey is starting right there, you know what I mean? But they don't know anything about what happened, you know, previous from you know, say 1990 or 1956 to 1995, when all the albums were big and, you know, there was actual product, you know what I mean? So they're working with what they have, and I'm really interested to see what they're gonna do, because they're a band that can go far. They really are, you know.
Yeah, they remind me of that Jessee Kills that we played with. There's a band like them in San Antonio. They're young, and they've got so much energy. We've had to play with them a couple times. Like
Talent.
Yeah. Actually, the girl singer on that was just on The Voice or something and won.
Really?
Jessica, whatever. She just won.
Wow.
Yes, she was on. It was on Facebook, or she made it to the next round. She did great.
Yeah.
Or whatever. And but it's a female-fronted band, young people, a lot of energy.
Yeah.
Totally rock out.
Yeah. I mean, the music is really good too, because I mean, there's this one band. Was it 21 Pilots that everybody keeps telling me about?
Oh, that's another one about my kids' bands.
Yeah, and they're sort of like a.
It's like
a hip hop kind of something or other. I don't know what you want to call it.
All my friends are heathens, take it slow. Like, no, fucking shoot me.
Look, he knows it too.
Oh, I've heard it 1,000 times.
Come on, Tom, sing along. Tom knows it. He's just hiding. Don't worry about that.
There's one line that God, kills me. It's like, I've been thinking too much. I've been thinking too much. I'm like, No, you're fucking singing too much. Shut the fuck up.
You know, it's funny when the Saints were up here the other night. I was telling them about because they were they listened like to a lot of the new metal and stuff, and I'm trying to bring them back. I said, you know what? I was against a lot of live albums back in the day. You know, I don't know what it was about live albums. I just really like them, but now I'm sort of like really liking them. I said, go take an album like Aerosmith, like live bootleg. Go take that album and listen to that record. And that's what a live record should be, and that's, you know, that's fucking gold. Because nowadays everything to me is like so overproduced, and you know, there's not much to it. It's like it's a lot of fluff. You know what I mean? And I don't know. It's hard. It's hard to
my
find.
wife is even turning. I mean, now she's even like some of that stuff.
Really?
I,
It's pop. It's popular music. This is poppy.
hopefully, one of my dogs hates it too.
One of your dogs hates it.
I hope so. I need
Yeah,
a companion
the
at
pug,
home.
Yeah, the pug hates it.
Yeah, he probably hates it. Yeah, he likes hardcore.
Yeah.
So I mean, when you're at home, what do you listen to?
People chattering.
People chattering. You know that.
No, I don't listen to music at home.
Really, you don't at all? In the car?
No, they don't like my music. They listen. Well, kids are different now. They're like
Yeah.
teenagers are in the room with the door closed. No, I listen to music in my car. I listen to Sirius XM. The Beatles station is back, so
Yeah.
every other song I'm there.
Yeah, I was on a big Beatles kick about a year ago when I got all the remasters and everything. And
You don't have Sirius XM?
I don't do satellite radio. I'm more of a CD guy. I'm an album guy. I like listening to full albums, you know. And I'm not a song person. Like, you know, I'll just pick singles and listen to. I mean, if it's something somebody sends me or something like that. But
You guys listen to music at home?
Yeah. You know, when
well, I was just wondering because
when I work out, I'll
Well,
grab my computer and I'll kind of surf.
Hard stuff, right? Rock.
Today I listened to Lamb of God and then John,
Yeah, that's
and
my
then-
boy.
and then John Coltrane.
yeah,
Oh, yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
yeah, because that's the thing is like, you know, I talk to, you know, I'm kind of set in my ways when it comes to music, and I really don't let a lot of whole things, not say new things in, but I really don't know where to go to look for new stuff to listen to. So I always ask people up here, man, well, what are you listening to these days? It's not like it's just a question because I mean I've been turned on to some great stuff from people that come up here about about just stuff that they listen to. Oh man, it's like I've never heard of that band. Go check them out and fucking phenomenal. You know?
You ever heard of Future of the Left?
Mm-mm.
You should check them out. That's one of my favorite.
Really? Yeah, the guy
What about you, Tom? What do you listen to at home?
Haken, Steven Wilson, maybe some Dream Theater.
He's our prog guy. That's why we have
Go
we have
listen.
prog
Go
elements.
listen to Haken. That's kind of gent, is what that music is classified as.
So are you a big Dream Theater guy or?
You know, it's funny. I grew up playing with Jordan Rudess.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
What do you think of Mike Mangini?
he's a great drummer. I mean, he's a great drummer.
Another Boston guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Teaches at Berkeley. Played with a
It's
guy.
funny. He used to play with Extreme.
I played with a guy who actually
Seriously.
went to Berkeley and was taught by Mike Mangini.
Dude's a fucking phenom, man. It's crazy.
Mhm.
That's another thing too. You know, it's just the level of musicianship these days with the younger cats coming out. It's like, you know, back when I was younger, you know, Motley Crue was coming up in like 80, 81, 82, 83, and you thought Tommy Lee was like the best drummer on the planet. And now Tommy Lee is like not even close to what these guys coming out are just so fucking good, you know?
Well, you always had Buddy Rich though.
Oh yeah.
You know,
All those jazz, yeah.
It's just all.
Yeah, but it's like I mean the level of guys coming out now, guitar players, bass players, drummers, singers.
Well, it's probably been like that since the dawn of time. If you think
Yeah.
about it, it's just it's what we're exposed to. I mean, I'm sure that like in the 1500s there were some badasses. I mean, look at Paganini. You know, there's some monsters. Always has been. So it's just how we look at it. That's my take.
Yeah,
That's my take on it.
I mean it's funny to like listen to like like Lamb of God or even Megadeth. Because I think the drummer from Lamb of God's playing with Megadeth right now, right? Or he was kind of going back and forth.
He's a Richmond cat. I don't know.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, man. But it's just to watch those guys play, it's like fuck, it's just craziness.
Tom, your wife listens to that stuff too? She likes that?
Yeah. We go to those shows, go to concerts, see the same kind of bands. Thank You Scientist is another band I'm into. but it's all, my background is all prog and fusion.
Oh, really?
I mean, I cut my teeth when I was a kid playing with Billy Cobham and
Wow.
Chick Corea, those kind of guys. But so as a natural progression from fusion to prog to death metal. I mean, before I joined this band, 2 bands ago, I was playing death metal. So
Wow.
you know.
I'll tell you, those death metal guys too. It's like those drummers. I don't.
They got good ankles.
You heard the guy from Cannibal Corpse?
I
Yeah.
remember that.
Yeah.
I know the guy. I don't know.
Does he?
He's got this-
got to have something that triggers other sounds. Though,
He's
too.
got a blast beat that's like I don't know where it's like from hell. I mean, it's just the craziest thing. It's I don't know. And you wonder if he speeds it up or how he does it, but it's just craziness. But something I was going to ask you.
What's that?
You're talking about prog stuff.
Yeah.
I was really heavy duty into a band called Vital Information, like a jazz fusion
Scott
kind of.
Henderson's.
Yeah, well, Steve Smith from Journey plays with him. That's his
okay.
band.
Okay.
Yeah, fucking killer band. I think actually, I think Steve Smith is going back to that. After he makes all his money with Journey and stuff, and goes back to playing his jazz stuff. But man, I saw them one time up in Connecticut. Fucking man, it was crazy.
Was it with Frank Gambale?
I think Frank Gambale was in there. Yeah.
It was Frank Gambale.
Yeah.
He did an album with I'm thinking of Victor Wooten, who Scott Henderson worked with. I think it was the bass player from Santana. I can't remember who the keyboard player was.
Yeah, it's
Frank Gambale.
it's like a 4-piece kind of jazz ensemble. It's fucking
yeah,
crazy.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. Let me ask this question. So this lineup you have right now is going to be pretty steady.
God willing.
God willing.
Allah Akbar.
Oh! no, we're solid, pretty straight. Yeah.
That's cool, man. Because I'll tell you what, I get, that's one thing I find weird about the scene all the time. Because I remember back, when I was playing, it was a big deal when someone left the band. It was like, hey, Joey left. Oh my God, and it was like news. But now it's like everybody kind of just.
It still sucks.
Yeah. Because I'll get calls from Chris Litz all the time, from Litzbaum, and he'll be like, "Hey man, you know any drummers?
Yeah.
And you know any singers? I mean, he's always going through drummers and he's going through singers all the time. And he was looking for a female singer recently. I hooked him up with somebody, and I haven't heard back if that worked or not.
Yeah, for Seventh Legend, that's that band.
Is it?
Yeah.
That what he's doing? Yeah. I hooked him up with a killer, so hopefully she works out.
If you can put together talented people without egos,
Yeah.
it's a big if. But if you can do that, then then you got a shot at keeping people together, I think. And like you see how humble Richard is, but you've seen him play, right?
Oh yeah.
And Tom.
Speaks for himself.
That's Tom.
Yeah, it's great to be. For me, I'm really lucky to be in a band with such talented musicians. But it's like, it always is like, hey man, I loved you guys. Your bass player was great. Hey man, I loved you guys. Your guitar player was great. Hey man, I love you guys. Your drummer was great. That's all I ever hear.
They're like, well, you're like, eh.
Yeah. I'm like, I know, yeah, they're great. I'm lucky.
No, but I mean, to me that night, because I was so, I really, when I moved down here, I was in the original scene for a while, but then I kind of, when I say I quit playing, I pretty much kind of fell off the radar for a while because I had to get my shit together and get a real job and start, making something out of my life instead of. I didn't want to wind up being 40 years old and have nothing and, living with 4 other guys in a cardboard box somewhere. And, that was my deal. So, but slowly but surely, when I kind of came back in and started hanging with my friends again or whatever, they're all still playing, all still doing, very few had original bands, but mostly have all cover bands. So, they were all playing the covers thing. So I really didn't hear any kind of like, you'd hear Jesse's Girl, you hear Don't Stop Believing, all those cover tunes, I mean, the guitar playing is great, but they kind of stuck to what it was and they didn't kind of move away from it. So the only time I would hear a guitar playing like that is if I put on a CD of, Racer X or something back from the 80s or whatever. So when I saw you, it was like, holy shit, man, I haven't heard this kind of guitar playing in fucking years. That's what kind of drew me to your playing.
Well, you should see his trio. It's totally kind of a different thing. It's it's hard. I hate genres, but it's like jazz rock, and it's like there's no singer, and he's got great players there, and I love it.
So you're in 2 bands then?
Yeah, but honestly, we haven't been playing that much because
You guys are playing all the time.
We've
Yeah.
been busy, and I talked to them the other day. I'm like, guys, I'm sorry, just been busy, and they're cool. Like, what gig? When we gig?
Yeah, they're in high demand anyway. So your other
The other
players,
guys are they play in other things and hire.
Are you teaching at all or?
Yeah, I teach at South Austin Music on.
Oh,
South
awesome.
Lamar, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Richard used to have his own music store in
Virginia, Blacksburg, Virginia.
Blacksburg.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's a pain in the ass.
Yeah, I'm sure any kind of business is a
Yeah,
pain in the
man.
ass. Yeah. Yeah, because I remember when I was a kid, I had a really cool, super local music store that I bought all my first gear from, and then
Yeah.
then all the internet stuff started coming up, and slowly but surely all the mom and pops went away, and the guitar centers popped up, and
Well, I sold it to some buddies, and it's still open and going.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Awesome, man.
Yep,
That's cool.
Yep.
Yeah, because I mean all the little ones in Austin are pretty much gone now. Tommy's
Tommy's
drum shop had a
is-
cool fucking drum shop down there. Now he's in this little spot across the street from where he used to be. So unbelievable.
Yeah.
So what do you got coming up for shows?
Well, we got Friday.
Got Friday.
We got that July 5th at Texas Mist.
Bat Fest.
We got Bat Fest. We're doing the finishing touches on working that out. And what do we have? July 15th. We're kind of leaving it open because I think we might be making a new album in September.
Oh, cool.
And people are kind of booking for September now. So, yeah, we're excited. We're excited about that because we might have I have a friend who's kind of a well-known musician in the world, and he may be producing it. And then he's a Waldorf dad. I have kids at the Waldorf school, and there's another Waldorf dad who mixed and produced Pearl Jam's 10
Oh, wow.
and 3
Cool.
U2 albums, and he might mix it. So I'm
Jesus.
trying to get this together a little bit. So we haven't really been going after a lot of gigs after these 3.
Yeah, but you guys have been playing like road dogs. Every time I see a show, you guys are on it. I mean, pretty much. I mean, you guys are more than most bands, which is good. You got to get out there,
It's fun, but it's like when you play a lot of shows, it's like you're not writing that
Oh,
much.
yeah.
And our writing takes us a while.
So what's the new stuff sounding like?
Well, if you went to that show, we were playing mostly all new songs.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we only played 1 or 2 off of that.
Okay.
EP. But well, he's into prog. Tom's into prog. I'm a punk rocker singer mostly. Maybe some 70s.
Right.
Richard can play anything, and so we kind of put it together. And I think all of us kind of have a little bit of ADD. We don't like our songs to be too repetitious. That's why
Right.
we've got a lot of left turns out of nowhere and all kinds of
That's what I noticed on this.
stops
yeah,
and starts and things like that. So to put something like that together, it just doesn't happen overnight. I guess we had one song that came together really fast.
Yeah, a couple. We said let's just stay straight and narrow. Let's don't go all crazy. And it was quick, but it's accessible. It's digestible too at the same time.
Yeah, those are the best
So-
tunes. A lot of the best songs come together in no time. Those are the big
Yep,
ones.
Yep.
The ones you got to sit there and work out and and spend
We love
days
them,
and weeks
nobody
on. Those
cares
are
about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're like, but nobody else likes it. It's the ones you can just put in your mouth and swallow and like it. It's easy to.
That's
easy
cool,
To, easy
yeah.
to get down.
So you're going to record it. So when do you think that's going to be kind of seeing the light of day?
Well, I think we're talking about recording in September. It's hard to nail these people down
Right, yeah.
times, and so when it happens,
When it happens, it
we're gonna, you just try to keep moving forward a little bit, one step in front of the other,
Cool, man. That's awesome. I'm just glad you're putting stuff out.
while we can.
I know, but it's like it's cool to see something like this. You know what I mean? I love stuff like this. Something it's like, instead of going on iTunes and press buy. You know what I mean? I'm just a CD in a record guy. I've always have, always will be. And I'm kind of like going back, really making the decision whether to go back to vinyl. You know what I mean? And
Yeah, we were think we might put out vinyl. I mean, that seems to be like the way you get people to buy albums.
yeah, well, I mean, if you got one, it's
An 8-track.
everybody's talking about 8-track when they come up here. You know, no one mentions cassettes. They always mention 8-tracks. I don't know what it is about 8-track.
It's that time between the cassette and the vinyl.
Oh, is that what it was? In the middle. I think 8-tracks were first.
Yeah, no, I don't know.
No.
Vinyl was before 8-track.
No, it was vinyl, 8-track,
And then cassette.
and then cassette,
That's what I
and then
said.
CD.
I said it's in the middle.
Oh,
between
okay. I'm sorry.
cassette
I
and vinyl,
took you
yeah.
wrong. Okay.
Yeah.
Don't jump over the table.
That's okay.
Yeah, but you know another thing too. Let me ask you this because you would know since you have kids and stuff that are. I heard from a couple people that a thing that's kind of coming out for kids now is kids are trading music on cassettes.
My kids aren't.
Yeah. Okay. Well.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, because I heard from a couple people up here on different podcasts. It's like a fad. It's like I'm not going to say it's a big fad, but you know it's a fad amongst certain little groups that. But where would they even get the cassettes from? You know, what I mean,
I've got boxes of cassettes in my garage.
yeah.
Damn. I'm waiting for them to come back.
You think they're gonna come back?
You know.
I'm waiting for laser discs to come back. That's my thing.
Yeah.
When laser discs come back, then we'll be good. No, but I think I'm really kind of hoping that I think the digital download thing will always be there, but I think with the vinyl kind of making resurgence, I think hopefully that'll kind of take off to where the record companies and artists will keep putting that stuff out. Because I would hate for the day to come when you walk into like a Best Buy or whatever and there's like nothing. You know what I mean?
Well, like my car didn't even come with a player. of
Yeah,
any kind.
that's what we were talking about last night. Yeah.
And I'm putting in an outside home system, and all we needed to do is hook up to the internet so we can play Spotify.
Wow.
There's no player.
Well, so it's really funny. I was listening to a podcast with Sebastian Bach from the old singer from Skid Row, and he's like a big vinyl nut. And so what he's doing on his new tour bus, he's actually going to put it a turntable inside his tour bus so he can play vinyl.
You better have a durable needle.
Well, no, they have these turntables with
Shockproof.
shockproof on them and stuff. Yeah, and they're like $5,000 or something like that. But
Wow,
he's that hardcore into vinyl.
Nice.
But the new vinyl they have out now, it's stuff that they call it. It's like 180 gram vinyl, and I had a friend up here, and he's like a big audiophile. He just loves vinyl. I don't think he's ever even bought a CD in his whole life, and he's like probably in his mid-50s, and he's got like old original stuff from like the 60s and 70s. I mean, original first release stuff like Beatles, Bowie, all that kind of stuff. And he was telling me that this new 180 weight gram vinyl stuff, because you put it on a turntable and you drop the needle, it's like you hear zero. It's like it's so silent, and then when it hits, it's like the audio is like nothing you've ever heard before. He goes, it's like so clean and so crisp and just it smokes any CD you've ever heard. And I'm like, really? He goes, seriously. So I'm gonna head over to he lives over in Taylor, so I need to go over there and check that out because I mean, I'm an audiophile. I love great sounding music, when I listen to it, and I mean if that's where it's going, I might jump on that bandwagon.
Yeah, I mean, if you like to hold on to music, I see your big collection of CDs.
Yeah, that's the only part of it. I got another rack, and I got to actually clear all this off and put it in here and stuff. And I lost a lot of them, over the years. People borrowing them and not giving them back, and that kind of shit. So, yeah, but I'm just first of all, thanks for coming up here. I know it was a trek and everything, and but I'm just glad you guys are doing it, man. And I think, for me personally, I feel a good vibe coming back, and I know a lot of people maybe thinking just the opposite and thinking it's getting tired and stuff, but I'm seeing a lot of just, little small blips on the radar, which I think are going to turn into bigger things, and I'm just really, it can only go up and only can get better,
I think people just need to figure out how to make it work. I heard that about the blockchain for digital currencies. I heard people are putting out music on the blockchain, so they have total control of their music and they actually get paid for it.
I haven't heard about that.
Yeah, so I think people need to embrace the new technologies and figure it out, and it's probably got more do-it-yourself aspects in the future. You know, it may be a good thing that the record companies have kind of died out. They had their day at the expense of a lot of.
Well, I mean, you even look at like iTunes. I mean, iTunes is like you put up an MP3 and you pay like $1 for it. Isn't it like they take like was it 30% off the top?
Oh, it's way
It's
more
more
than
than
that.
Is it way more than that? Really?
Yeah. I think the artist gets like 0.5 cents per dollar or something like that.
Yeah,
What?
Yeah, and you heard about like you get
Yeah.
a million YouTube views and you get like $1.20.
Oh, well, I mean they have like their own service now, though, right? No, I'm talking about if you like say like you put your album on iTunes and you sell it.
Still not much.
I heard it was
Tom,
like
you might know more than I do.
Yeah, you get about 10%.
really? That's all you get off of that?
Yeah.
Good God, I thought it was way more than that.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, because those guys from the Saints up here the other night, they were saying it was like they, if you put an MP3 up to sell, that they would take like 30 cents on the dollar, so you would end up with like 70 cents.
Well, it depends on the service, but you know.
Well, what I mean, that's iTunes, so
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's not the way it used to be. But actually, when people were selling albums, the band only got like 2 or 3% royalty.
Not
back
even
then.
that. Yeah,
So, but you made all your money through tour revenue.
yeah.
Nowadays, bands are giving tour revenue, a piece of their tour revenue to record companies.
Well, they call it the 360 deal, where the record company gets a piece of everything. They get the piece of touring,
Right.
piece of merch,
Right.
piece of albums, whatever they sell, they get a piece of.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's all.
Exactly.
And I mean, a lot of bands are signing those deals and they're getting fucking ripped off. I mean,
You got no choice.
I mean, not everybody can be Kiss and sell 30,000 seats a night or whatever they're doing. I mean, just poor bands. I don't know how they're even doing it anymore. I just have no clue. Like bands like LA Guns that did Texas Mist. I mean, how are they surviving? I just can't. You know what I mean? It's just.
Yeah, I think they make about 5,000 a night.
Do they really?
Yeah,
Wow, I'm surprised they make that much.
but then the person who booked it for them is taking a cut, and I'm sure they've got a manager, and then they got road crew.
They got road crew. They got their tour bus. They got to pay for. They got to pay for their driver. They got to pay for, expenses on top of that. So I mean, they're probably not bringing home a whole hell of a lot. I would think, But I'm just like I'm amazed that a lot of those bands are going out and they're still doing it and still. Like financially still making it. You know what I mean? Because some of the things you hear about are just like, God, why are you even out there doing it? Because you barely break even. And there's some bands that lose money when they go out on the road, I know they love it and all, but it's like, when you come back and you're $50,000 in debt, it's crazy money, Not everybody has that kind of money to put on a tour or put on, on a bunch of shows or whatever. So
That's true.
yeah, there was one band that they broke it down. It was some kind of news article about some band, and they were saying that, okay, we're gonna do this tour. It's like 10 dates, and we're gonna make. It was like I don't know, like $30,000 on these.
It was a decent amount of money.
Yeah.
They were a decent band.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about? You probably
I
saw
read
the.
it, yeah.
You read it too?
Yeah.
Yeah, so by the time that they had to put other expenses in and who took, this percentage and that percentage, they were what? Was it like 20,000 in debt or something like that?
Yeah,
It was
they lost money.
it was like, yeah, but they lost a good chunk of money. And they're like going
It's a tough business.
it's a tough business.
Yeah.
And they're not selling, they're not a huge band. I was just reading it going, wow, this is, man, you got to really love to do this. I mean, if you want to,
They need to learn how to play the computer and hit play.
yeah,
And
something.
Have a good light show.
Is that what people are doing?
Yeah, and you only need one person then.
That's what I heard about Facebook views too. Somebody was telling me that you could go on and if you watch the video for like, man, what did Dana tell me? It was like 20 seconds or 30 seconds. It kind of is a view. So I don't know. So I guess a lot of bands are going on there and just pressing play and whatever else,
I don't know.
It's crazy. Yeah, yeah. Because I'm wondering, it's funny because you see like a lot of bands, like you said, you had what 50,000 on your page, right?
Yeah, I'm not even sure who these people are.
It's a lot of people, though.
Yeah.
50,000, that's a good chunk.
Like I heard like from my law partner, he's got a daughter at St. Ed's, and there's kids in the dorm listening to our stuff, and I was like, what? But they don't come to our shows or anything really, but I guess some people like it. I don't know where. This 50,000 likes thing is like.
Yeah, likes are just kind of.
I don't know.
Well, because I know there's people that go on there, and Dana was telling me that they put up these, what do they call them? They're like boosts or something like that. You pay Facebook like, I don't know, $10 a day or $20 a day, and it hits it sends your thing out to, all over the place, and that's how a lot of people are getting likes and hits and views and whatever else is through that. So, hey, whatever works, right? Whatever gets your shit out there.
Yeah.
I mean, so if you got to spend, a couple grand to get whatever, if you got the money, go ahead and do it. You know what I mean? So, anyways, I got a couple sponsored things I got to read. So, you want to read these for me?
No.
Why not?
Do it.
You got quiet all of a sudden over there.
I'm gonna hit you.
I'm just getting tired.
I know. We're gonna wrap this up
All right.
in here in a minute. But I got two sponsors, and one is, of course, Ear Splitting Media. They're one of the main ones here. Hold on, I got to find their thing here. They give me something to read because if I try to make up something on the spot, it's going to sound pretty ridiculous, So there we got quiet all of a sudden. Okay. Okay, get it on. Okay, so this is for...
Should have brought the tequila.
Oh. Man, we had a drunk podcast the other night. It was like everybody's talking over each other, and it was pretty crazy, so... Anyways, Ear Splitting Media is bringing underground bands into the foreground. We're the home of the new YouTube interview series Out on the Town, and I think a bunch of bands that I know already done it. So, and also coming in midsummer, the Call Online Video Magazine featuring local CD and show reviews. Did they review your CD?
I don't think so.
You don't think so? We'll have to give them one then. You got like 20 of them. So
There you go.
Who is it?
this is Ear Splitting Media.
Oh,
So
short attention span.
yeah, it's all good though. But anyways, and coming in midsummer, the Call Online Video Magazine featuring local CD and show reviews. Ear Splitting Media's promotion and post content can help your band from the background to the foreground. So hit us up at our Facebook page for more info. The Austin music scene revolution is now. So that's their spiel. So what their deal is, like we talked about, they're a media company, and they will help you with your social media like they did with me because, man, I really needed a lot of help and still need a lot of help.
Well, they're good at it.
Hell yeah, they are. So
I thought they were just fans or something, but I didn't realize they were like.
they're all in bands, yeah.
Yeah.
But they're a younger, tech savvy crowd. You know what I mean? That know what's in because I don't know how many hits a day I get from like people wanting me to go on Instagram and shit. Like I got time to take pictures and put them up. I'm not a selfie kind of guy, and that kind of shit. I don't do all that.
Yeah.
So there's always some kind of new media coming out, how to promote yourself or the new greatest and latest thing. And I think Facebook is still, hopefully going to be that medium for a while because that's one thing I'm really good at. So
A lot of people are moving to Steam It.
Steam It? What's that?
You get paid for posts and for content and things like that.
Well, shit, with 50,000 likes, man, you need to go on there and make some money.
I need
And promote your next project.
I need to hire Ear Splitting Media to do it.
There you go. There you go. We got another client here. Hopefully, hey, you never know. But I'll definitely give them this to if you want them to review this.
Sure.
Would you be happy? They would probably give you a great review. I think it's killer. I love it.
As long as it's an honest review, that's cool.
Yeah, that first time I listened to that first tune today on the way to work, and I was like going. So I listened to it last week, but I was listening to it this morning. I'm like going. I just heard that intro. I'm a big Doors fan. I love the Doors, and I heard that that little breakdown part. I'm like going, God damn, that's Jim Morrison '68 right there.
Well, yeah, I've listened to a little bit of Doors.
I love the Doors, man.
To
What?
me, those are the best live records.
Yeah, yeah. But what's the killer thing about the Doors, though? If you're into the Doors at all, I don't know if you guys are into. is
the only one.
yeah, I love them. But anyways, but the thing about them is they make a resurgence like every 10 years. You ever notice that? Like when the new generation comes up, they always like pick like AC/DC or the Doors, and those bands always kind of come back for a little bit, which is killer because, I mean, the Doors were just a fucking great band, you know? And people should remember that, so. Agreed. And actually, I was listening to LA Woman before you guys came up here. So, and my other sponsor is my my lovely girlfriend. She has a hey, she's a sponsor.
Oh, this wasn't in order of importance, was it?
Well, no, I put her towards the end, so yeah, her cards are right over there. Anyways, needing merch for your band or business, Crystal Jordan Brand Builder can take. I'll read that again. Crystal Jordan Brand Builder can take care of all your merch needs. Anything from shirts and koozies to stickers and banners. Whatever you want with your logo on it, she can handle. You can find Crystal Jordan on Facebook or on the web at crystaljordan.com. And Crystal, she spells her name with an I, so it's Cristal instead of a Y. So contact her today for a quote, and she can take care of you. Yeah, she does. She works for a brand building company. And they, of course, that's what she did that and stuff. So that's my little thing.
Looks good.
Yeah, it's killer. I was actually, I was really wanting to do like mobile podcasts. The problem is the juice that I need to run this thing. I was supposed to do one. I was actually supposed to do LA Guns. That was one of the first ones I was supposed to do. And I get down there and Jim's internet service, I think he's on dial-up. So. So to run all the stuff I have to run for Facebook Live and YouTube, it just wasn't going to work. So hopefully one of these days he'll, get his internet worked out and we can go do some live podcast on it. It'd be pretty cool, actually.
Sounds like a plan.
All right. I know you guys are tired. I know you want to get out of here. So once again, thank you so much for coming all the way up here. I'll owe you some shots of tequila when I see you guys over at the show.
All right.
And you're playing Friday night. You want to pump that again?
Friday night.
Texas Mist.
Texas Mist.
Right.
Jim, Texas Mist.
9:30.
Oh, and speaking of, I got one more little last thing.
You gonna call him?
No. He actually texted me. He said, yes, I'm watching, but can't call, working the door and show about to start. Give them guys some love for me. So there's your message from Jim.
All right.
So he's there. Anyways, Friday night, Texas Mist. Check it out. God bless. Have a great week. And I always leave the show with the same thing. Always do the right thing, please, because Lord knows, God knows y'all. Most of you don't. So, and take care of yourselves. God bless. We're out. Peace.